There are two ways to head east from Bainbridge Island in the state of Washington. A half-hour ferry across Puget Sound to Seattle, or south across the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, a bridge with the nickname Galloping Gertie. Stay tuned to find out which way we choose.
Here we go. All we need is an open road and a chance to see a never-ending world that's beautiful. Here we go with the sunlight on our skin. It's a brand new day. It's ours to take and we will let it in. This is where the adventure begins.
It was finally the day to head east. And considering I had at one point taught my middle school students about the Tacoma Narrows Bridge collapsing, and then there was also not having to drive our trailer through downtown Seattle, I decided to choose the bridge over the ferry. Right now you're watching our adventure, I guess, traversing the current bridge, and although it was a beautiful view, it wasn't quite the experience that people had on November 7th, 1940.
Tacoma Bridge, Washington, opened only a few months ago, was built at a cost of over $6 million. But misfortune overtakes the great structure. These are some of the most amazing pictures ever recorded by a newsreel. The actual collapse of the world's third largest suspension bridge. Only a 35-mile-an-hour wind is blowing, but this apparently sets up a rhythmic swinging of the bridge, which increases with each swing. Finally, the swinging road and the suspension cables give way and plunge into the water below. Fortunately, the only casualties were a car stalled on the bridge and a dog.
Our goal this day was to make it to the Columbia River, but to do that, we needed to make it through the beautiful Snoqualmie Pass. This area can become impassable in winter snow, but today we had beautiful weather.
Caught up in the feeling, I get tunnel vision. Every time I see you, everything around you fades into the wind, and my heart is thrown open. Feels like slow motion. I never knew the feeling until you. Every time I see you, I'm caught up in your magic. When I fall to pieces, you pull me back together, and when we are together, my feet don't touch the ground. When my world is black and white, you color me back to life. I never knew the feeling until you. I never knew the feeling
Now, when you come down out of the mountains, the terrain becomes rather arid. By the time we got to our campsite at the Wanampum State Park Campground, you kind of felt like you were in Arizona more than Washington State. Wanampum is a really nice state campground that sits on a bluff overlooking Wanampum Lake, which was created along the Columbia River from the building of the Wanampum Hydroelectric Dam just downriver. The next day, we were off to northeastern Washington and Leisure Ranch Alpacas. What a beautiful place. We camped in a very level spot right next to the alpacas, and they also had some miniature horses. Wesley didn't quite know what to make out of these funny-looking animals. Carolyn, our hostess, gave us a great overview of the place and seemed to really take to Wesley, our Great Dane. They have optional 30-amp hookups and great walking on the property. Carolyn even took us over to her workshop to show us how she makes alpaca yarn. Finally, we finished off Washington with a stay at the Knapp Family Lavender Ranch. This is a veteran-owned and operated farm. Rick and Paula met us and took us to the lavender field. We had the whole place to ourselves, and they even gave us a tour of how they make lavender oil. The scent of the lavender and the isolation made it a very relaxing stop. The stars at night were spectacular. In the morning, we packed up for our relatively short drive along the Priest River for a visit with another set of friends who live on 5 acres south of Sandpoint, Idaho. Another great place to mooch dock. We hope you enjoy following along with us on our journey across country. There are many more adventures ahead, so please consider subscribing, ringing the bell to be notified of a new episode, but doing that, of course, right after liking this episode. We're looking to build a community around RVing and travel, and every like we get helps us reach more people. For Karen, Wesley, and myself, I wish you nothing but happy travels. See you next week.